Hey guys, this is Jon
and Austin. Gee whiz, what is that for?
I couldn't resist. I thought about it. I'm sorry. We'll start over.
The handbook says no horseplay, and that qualifies. I don't want to.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I rescind the offer. All right, we'll start over.
No, I think that should be.
I just picked it up and I was like, I'm going to hit him with this.
You being abusive to others in the workplace ought to be on the podcast.
I got called into HR.
Did you really?
I really did. Over something I said on this podcast.
No way.
Yeah. It turns out it was a joke. Steph happened to be walking through our commercial sales while those guys were talking about how I said a few of them could miss a few meals. And so they made a HR complaint joke, and Steph called me in, and she's trying to be serious, and I'm like, she could possibly be serious. I'm like, but I can see. I told her I'm the opposite of whatever autistic is. Like, autistic people usually can't read faces. I can read faces really well, but also autistic people are really smart, especially with like math and stuff, and I am not. So I'm the opposite of autistic, whatever that is. But so I was able to suss out that it was a joke. But anyways,
that's awesome.
Nice, interesting start to the podcast. Okay, so what are we? I'm gonna be gone this weekend and most of next week. You're gonna have to do a live stream and a podcast without me.
I totally forgot. I started to plan for the live stream and then I stopped. I got to pick that back up because I just got a couple days.
It's Tuesday.
Here. It's not Tuesday. It's Monday.
Tuesday's the first.
Well, today's Wednesday. Everybody's listening to this on Friday, but we record on Wednesdays. Right. So, but it's
Tuesday's
Mondays.
That's the 31st. Tuesday's the first.
The 31st is Sunday because the guys on Meatgistics, some of them complained. No, I'm better at math than he is. What?
Okay.
No.
My guys have the sales, the giveaway, all of that taken care of. So all you have to do is come up with whatever you're gonna draw for winners. All that. We'll even create the giveaway for you on that.
This is totally throwing me off. I swear it was on Monday.
No, it works well because it would just be in replace of your 4:00 meeting with me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be fine. But
okay.
I don't know what I'm going to do exactly. I have a plan, but my goal is to make it so fun that you're jealous that you're gone.
Okay. I'm going to be catching a ridiculous number of bass, hopefully muskies, all sorts of things. I'm not going to be jealous.
I've been in contact with a marine biologist to transform the second half of the studio in here into a giant fishing tank with like 37 different species of fish.
You can sit in here and toss things in there.
Yeah.
Well, spite is a great motivator in this place, apparently. Okay, so I'll be gone for that. That'll be just Austin. I think I'm going to be back. I should be back. I might not be back till Friday, actually. We'll find out. But if I come back, if I can make it in on Thursday, I'll let you know and we'll do the podcast Thursday. If not, we're going to have to either do one solo or we're going to have to miss one.
I'll do it as long as Patrick's here.
He'll be here. Patrick, you're not gone at all next week, are you?
No. Yeah, we'll do one then because
My son told me last night I won't make it to my next birthday.
Oh, that's nice.
That is,
man.
No, he meant it in like.
He must have heard.
Oh, you don't make it here now. I was like, oh, let's just take it back.
He must have heard your comment from a couple podcasts ago about eating children. And
he's trying to say that like he meant it in a good way. There's no good way to meet that.
Oh no, I don't think. No, he didn't mean it as like decisive, like as cutting as like as an adult would mean it to one other. He was trying to have a comeback to something I said, and I was just like, like he heard birthday, obviously, like a paragraph prior, and just like, you won't see, you're an expert. And I was like, oh man,
that is
tell me how, or don't say it at all.
Yeah, right. Leave that out of there. But anyways, all right. So we'll have that. We've got Bratfest obviously coming up on the 19th. Hope to see a bunch of people there. Austin and I were talking about one of the brats we're going to make right before this. We're going to have jambalaya brat, which is a real interesting brat to make. A lot goes into it. So we're going to make that separate. We'll probably live stream doing that just because why not? It's a fun one to do.
Do we have a specific video on that one?
Yeah, I was just about to say the only argument against that would be we could make a video on making jambalaya.
You could have like a kind of informal one that we do a live stream and then kind of cut down some fluff in it.
But we can't record those live streams now.
Why not?
We can. It's just it won't be high HD. So.
Would we not? Can you not hit record on that while we're still outputting?
What it is my proclivity for 4K footage now. So we can totally get it, but you would get that kind of degradation or 1080p. But yeah, no, because I think his placement of the camera and where it has to be for power and plugged in and stuff like that, it's just a million different reasons. But if you want him, we can have him live online when he's done. No big deal. So. He does it.
No, we can't. Like, it doesn't record him.
OBS can record it, is what I'm saying. We've had access to that, but
We go past all that. With our new way of doing it, there's no record of the live stream anymore.
Yeah, but we could still live stream, and because the computer is still seeing the output, so the computer is going to live stream over here and record over here.
I mean,
it seems like more problem than it's worth. We'll do 2 separate batches.
I don't know.
Well, I'd like to reward the people that are there for the live stream is like only being able to watch it while it's live, right? So it's like a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's a special.
So we can start charging like $100 per view. Is that how this works?
I'm not being involved in that.
It's a monthly package, guys. Please.
All right. So we got Bratfest. We have a couple changes on Waltons.com right now and coming to Waltons.com right now. We're moving some stuff around. It won't be anything super noticeable for right away. But commercial pricing for those people who listen with commercial access, when you log in, there was like something right at the top. We're going to move that. And then we're going to move like where the win a Walton's 22 grinder, sign in, and a couple of the other things are, so we can move the search bar up near the top, make it look a little bit more, I don't know. Everyone else seems to think professional. I like it the way it is, but I've been overruled by Austin, and then literally everybody else in the media department when I showed them taking away the extra padding. They're like, yeah, that's better.
So next time, if I want something, I'm just gonna go straight to everybody in there and see if they got my back first,
when
and then
do you
confront
ever
you
not
about
get
it.
something you want?
Oh, a lot.
Really? From
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's a lot of things, whether it's you or other people who work for me, like that they do that I don't necessarily like.
Sure.
But I also don't like make people stop because I'm just like, I can't micromanage.
Has there ever been anything you've told me you want done this way and I keep doing it that way and you're just like, okay, he's going to keep doing it that way?
No.
Okay.
Like, if I like say like, hey, you need to do this, I kind of expect that. But
cool.
There's things I'm like, I would personally probably do it different. I see something and I don't, even though I want it to be done somewhere different, I also know like I don't really need to do that.
Yeah.
I can
think
do
of
it the way
one
they
specific
want.
thing we've argued over a bunch. So, okay.
Yeah.
Can you change your voice at all, or the way you walk?
I changed the way I walked last week.
Change your face.
Yeah. Now, hold on. I'm going to do my best to work on that.
So last week I woke up Monday with slight back pain, which turned into crippling back pain.
I was gonna say you were hobbling.
I was hobbling around. Like I got this walk where I put my hips down low and just kind of shuffled. I looked like a robot, but it didn't hurt my back to walk. So it's excellent. So Monday and Tuesday, terrible. It took me 2 minutes to get into bed Monday night. I woke up Tuesday morning and my very first thought was my back doesn't hurt. So I got out of bed real gently. I'm like, I think I'm good. Took my dogs for a walk and the idiot big one lunged at something and pulled my back. Exact same repeat on Wednesday morning. Thursday, I wake up, no back pain, neck in terror. Like I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. Then Thursday night, I'm texting somebody here at work. My dog ate my boots. Ate them. He ate my boots.
He's not exaggerating.
Yeah, no, he ate them. And then I'm texting with somebody as I'm walking my dogs after work. The one who ate my boots goes jetting after nothing. There was no bunny. There was no nothing. He just jetted. Pulled the phone out of my hand, spins, hits the pavement, and lands face down. And it's done that not a bunch of times, but a good amount of times. And I've got a case on it, so it's always fine. I'm like, it'll be fine. Pick it up. Cracked to the point where like I couldn't, it was just black. Like I'd hit the standby button and it would real quick, like there'd be a line of color that would go down the screen. Go to you break, I fix on Friday, and they're saying 3 to 5 days.
I forgot about that. You've had a rough week.
I had a rough week. This is a new week. This one's better.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, last week was not a good week. Then Saturday I came in and took a picture with a fan. I walked in and the very first thing he said was, I watch you on TV all the time. So he was a real nice guy. He came up all the way from, I think, Arkansas, he said.
So if anyone ever sees me in public, ask me for my autograph so I can come to Jon and say, someone recognized me and asked for my autograph.
Pathetic. Apparently, while he was outside with one of our retail workers, the guy asked, would he mind if I took a picture? And he was like, yeah, no, he loves that. Does it all the time. And when the guy left, I was like, I hate that. I've never had to do that before. And Caleb's like, oh no, I told him that you love it and you do it all the time. I was like, no, that's the opposite of that. It's not that I hated doing it. It's just, it seems weird. Like it feels weird to do. I'm going to go fix that.
I was starting to wonder, do we have like something cooking and is there fat popping in the background?
I couldn't even hear that over here.
The bad crinkling.
The long
It was distracting up here. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about outside of that? No. We should have talked about this last week when your dad was on the podcast because he's the one who suggested this. But Patrick and I have spent a good amount of time trying to figure out where the number 12, number 8, number 12, number 22, and number 32 come from. What does that mean? Is it the diameter of the plate? Is it the circumference of the plate? The surface area? It's nothing in millimeters. It's nothing in inches. It's nothing in centimeters. Like we've done all of that. Nothing works. So I was talking to your dad about that, and he said, you should talk to Paul at Specco. Specco, for anyone who doesn't know, we buy plates and knives from them that are really, really high quality. Commercial customers use them. You get a really nice clean grind on it. So I reached out, found Paul's email address, reached out to him. And, I just asked him, hey, we've been thinking about this for a long time. We couldn't figure it out. His response was that they've asked that question 100 times too, and that there is no answer. He said it used to be a size 1, 2, and 3 way back in the day, but then manufacturers came out with sizes 5 and 8. So the 1 got bumped to a 12, the 2 got bumped to a 22, and the 3 got bumped up to a 32. Makes no sense. But at least there is no answer. Like I didn't want to, I'm fine with failing, but I'm happier that I failed and like there was no success. There was like, I couldn't, never have found an answer.
There was no getting an A on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even a C.
They just needed they needed it like an alphabet, so to speak, like in with which that they could decipher the small from the big. And I don't know where the numbers came from, like, or they could have just went A, B, C, like could have done something that had,
or they could have gone 11, a 22, or 33.
Or yeah,
right? They could have just like made it a double of each.
Yeah. Some people call the 12 a 10.
Right, 10, 12.
Yeah, so
that's annoying.
There could have been like a VHS Betamax fight. Like, well, I'm going to call it a 10. I'm going to call it a 12. Right. I don't know.
It's like whatever you stick with, you have to stay within that parameter, though, right? Like you can't, like you said, the 12 and then jumps, and then once you change brands, good luck. It's on to you to figure it out. So
yeah, the only thing you have to factor for in brands though is how many notches they have, or how many, whatever you call the opposite of a notch.
Oh, yeah.
How many outs?
Oh, no, that's a.
So it's either 3 or 1. No, whatever you call
them. They all have notches, little inset. Well,
in the plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't. How many notches your plate had doesn't matter. Like you can use a 3-notch plate on a 1-notch system.
Oh yeah.
You can use, but you can't use a 1-notch on a 3-notch.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, but what are we calling the opposite of the thing that goes into the notch?
I'm still going to call it a notch.
Okay. So it's an anti-notch.
Sure.
Anti-notch.
So I guess you were saying like it doesn't make sense and you failed, but I look at it and I'm like 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that part initially it made sense. I kind of want to know, and it's still going to bother me, like why a 5 and an 8? Like that's the part that I look at that I'm like, okay, well the 1, 2, 3, 12, 22, 32, that makes sense. Who decided 5 and 8?
Don't. Just let that alone. I'm not going to go down that road anymore.
Is it going to bother you?
There's going to be a good answer because it's going to end up being that it was actually like a 0.5 and a 0.8 for some stupid reason. And then they just started calling them 5s and 8s.
Maybe we can just say that's what it was and everyone will believe us.
Put out a blog post about it. Who's the authority on this? Who is the authority? Okay. So we've got that. I've made some jerky. I'm bringing some of it up to the Ron Scherer guys. The rest of it will be stuff that we send out to you guys. Woke up on time for me this morning. Worked out, took my dogs on a nice long walk. Last night before I left, I sliced all the jerky. I put it in the tumbler, put the whole tumbler into the walk-in cooler. the vacuum on the lid apparently isn't strong enough to stand up to sitting at that angle all night, because I opened the door from the test kitchen into the shop where the entrance to the cooler is, and there's just a pool of liquid coming out of it. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So the first hour of my day, I mean, I got in at like 6:15. The first hour of my day was cleaning up that mess.
Oh,
and so, yeah, didn't start off quite the way I wanted it to. But luckily, none of the meat fell. The only thing that fell was, or like kind of leaked out a little bit, was the liquid. So still sad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got anything else before we get on to Meat Matters?
Nope.
Okay. The first one is the meat carnivore queen, heavily tattooed businesswoman, 31 from Michigan, lives on a diet of raw meat and claims she makes cheese out of her own spit.
So when Jon first walked in my office today, talking about podcast, he was like, he's like, do you have anything? I don't know if it's going to be very good. I don't have a lot. And so I first started looking for articles, and you came back and said, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And this was one of the first articles I came across. I hadn't looked at the list here, and I purposely skipped over it because I was like, we don't want to talk about that.
So disgusting.
And then I pull up the notes, and it's the first one you put on the list.
I mean, my note, though, to be fair, my note is this real?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it is.
It's got to be somebody just screwing around, like
trying to get famous.
You make cheese out of spit? Like, no, that it can't be right. I don't want to believe that is accurate.
She said, where is it? She talks about, for breakfast, I typically have celery juice, noting that she prefers to drink water in a structured form, such as kombucha. I don't know what structured water is, and I'm not really caring about that. But I'll have a charcuterie spread of raw chicken, beef, and pork with fermented sauerkraut, capers, or just plain with some tomato or a juicy something. Vegetables are few and far between. So I like the vegetables are few and far between part. I even don't mind the raw beef part. It's the raw chicken and the raw pork that I take exception. I guess exception isn't the wrong term here, that I wouldn't do. Salmonella and what is the worm? Trichinosis in pork. I'm not eating either one of those raw.
I feel like you're safer with beef and pork, but chicken, I would not.
No.
Unless something's changed and they've gotten a lot better with chicken. That's just, you're just.
Does it make a difference if you raised and killed the chicken yourself? Or could salmonella still be on it already?
I don't know enough about it. I could talk more on like beef, but not chicken. I don't know.
Right, because they say there was I would be very worried about this person's long-term health. And not to get too judgy, but looking at her, maybe not the sanest.
I don't know.
I mean, she's eating, is that beef marrow.
Beef marrow?
She's just scooping out and eating. And then why are we wearing a kimono or whatever that is below it?
I don't know. It's weird. Stick to a more traditional diet.
Or don't. Whatever. Do whatever you want, but just please don't eat raw chicken. That's dangerous. All right, moving on. U.S. retail sales of meat alternatives continue precipitous decline. This is from Ag Funder News. So U.S. retail sales of plant-based meat alternatives fell 12.6% to $106 million in the 5 weeks ending June 2nd, 2023, with units down 20% year over year, according to new data from Circana. For the year to July 2nd, 2023, sales fell 7.3% or $1.1 billion. That's a serious drop. I wonder how much of this is information getting out there, how processed all this food is. Like all of that Beyond Meat stuff is, this is creepy. Austin is looking at me while full typing an email to somebody.
I did a bad thing, broke something. So
you were fixing your broken thing?
No, I was telling someone I broke it, and I'll check on it later.
Okay. Is it a Waltons.com thing or no? Okay. Then I don't care. Oh, real quick. Waltons.com, every seasoning now has a calculator built into the page. So if you're making an 8-pound batch, you can just scroll down to the page or go to the page of that seasoning, scroll down, put 8 pounds in. It'll tell you how much seasoning to use. If you're making a snack stick or a summer sausage, it will tell you how much additives to use. So check that out. Okay. But yeah, no, I wonder how much of this is information getting out there on how processed this is and how successful, I guess, the last couple of years, the push has been against eating processed foods. Patrick says, what?
So you think that's why alt meat is falling?
Yes.
Okay. Could be. So a good time to throw in the kind of talk about the story I did find I thought was interesting because the thing we always talk about in alt meats is how long the ingredient list is. Mm-hmm. And an article I found that was talking basically about different sausage brands and low quality sausage that they put out. And they're like, a long ingredient list, be on the lookout for that. The longer the ingredient list, the more processed the sausage is. And I'm thinking, I'm thinking in my head as I'm reading through this article of like different sausages I'd make. And I'm like, if I was doing it, my ingredient list would be very short, like very short.
No, you have to include the ingredients of the ingredient you add.
To an extent. Depends on what.
Just to an extent?
Yeah, it depends on what percentage level it is. But yeah, because that's why like some things just say spices. So, but.
Whoa. No, you can only call it spices if it is like black pepper, like if it's a spice. Yeah. But if it's like sodium erythorbate and you put some in there, it has to be on the label.
Oh, yeah. But I'm thinking like, if we're just talking like sausage, okay, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to buy a pack of brats. Mm-hmm. So here, I shouldn't do this live on air because I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I'm going to pull up Blue Ribbon. So we pull up Blue Ribbon, see what the ingredient statement is. Salt, spices, dextrose, autolyzed yeast. So you're going to have pork, salt, spices, dextrose, autolyzed yeast.
And water.
Maybe. Could add water, don't have to.
Right.
But it's going to be a short ingredient statement. But you look at alt meat and it's insanely long. So all the people that complain about meat and a long ingredient list and this and that, like we talked about, like why don't they complain about alt meat? Because their ingredient lists are just insane. Yep. So you would think that maybe that's caught up to them and that that's why they're not growing, because people look at it and they go,
that's not real.
That doesn't look like I should eat it.
I thought this was going to be vegetables and carrot fiber. Nope. I saw something the other day. I couldn't quite catch it, but it was something about how Dippin' Dots affected the alt fake meat market.
Dippin' Dots?
Yeah, I know. And it was something with when Dippin' Dots went bankrupt. They had to sell a huge portion of their equipment. And some of that was apparently Dippin' Dots' whole thing was like getting it super cold. So they were going bankrupt right around the time a lot of these Beyonds and Impossible. So they bought that equipment and use it as part of their process to get like canola oil and stuff into like a droplet form into the beef. So I'll try and find more about it because it did look interesting. I just didn't have time to dive into it. But this says mechanically separated meats are bad for you.
Why does that? I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
You're not chemically doing something to it.
No.
It's a physical process that's not changing it.
It's parts of the bird, it's parts of the beef, pork, whatever that would not be used otherwise. So why is that a bad thing?
I don't know. So that's one of the things I'm hoping that we can ask more Specco and see if they have some more information to tell us about what goes into mechanical deboning.
We're going to be putting some stuff out on flavor on social media here pretty soon. And one of the things you have on here is something we're going to kind of harp on is high sodium. Sodium is necessary for giving sausage its flavor. One of the things I found, it was an old presentation from somebody who spoke here years ago, that said without salt, no matter what else you add, it's not going to have the right flavor.
It's a functional ingredient.
Yeah, you can add as much cayenne pepper or whatever as you want. It's never going to taste like you want to without adding the correct amount of salt.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Moving on to the next story. Kind of tied in to what we've been talking about, but both individual investors who control a good portion of Beyond Meat Inc., along with institutions, must be dismayed after last week's 8.7% decrease. Dropped 8.7% in a week. Now that's scary to think about. From the article, it says, our data shows that the Vanguard Group is the largest shareholder with 9.5% of shares outstanding, with 6.3 and 4.4% of the shares outstanding, respectively. BlackRock and UDQ Private Trust Company, LLC, are the second and third largest shareholders. In addition, we found that Ethan Brown, the CEO, has 2.3% of the shares allocated to their name. Now, I'm not dancing on anyone's grave here or anything, but the Vanguard Group, BlackRock, and UDQ are not three companies that I mind hearing bad things happening to.
Interesting tidbit, though.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what your 401k is invested in?
No.
Should look.
Yeah.
I'm going to look when we're done with this because I think there's a very good chance that mine's in Vanguard right now.
I'm sure it is.
Mm-hmm.
They control, those four companies control so much.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you going to do? I'm not relying on my 401k to retire. So we do other things.
Is that why you have big dogs?
Like I'm going to fatten them up and eat them? Is that good? No. I have big dogs because I like fighting with my dogs and I want them to be able to fight back. All right. U.S. beef cow herd fell to a 52-year low, squeezing meat packers. I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but we were kind of rushing through some stuff at the end. We didn't have much time. We allowed Brett to wax eloquently about Walton's, which is always awesome to have him on. I love getting his perspective, but we were rushing through articles there at the end. So just want to talk about this a little bit more. It says U.S. farmers are raising the fewest beef cows since at least 1971. Government data released on Friday showed as the drought conditions whittled herds, likely boosting costs for meat packers that slaughter the animals into steak and hamburgers. There were 29.4 million beef cows as of July 1st, down 2.6 from a year earlier. Okay, first of all, 30 million beef cows is an insane number for my head to get around. That's not including dairy cows. That's just beef cows. That's a crazy number for my head to get around. I don't do well at scale. Like as soon as we start talking about a certain, like I'm very comfortable with the numbers, like checking what the website did overnight. Like those numbers, I like that amount of money makes sense to me. But once you get up into like the millions, my brain's just like, nah, that's a stupid amount of money. So I don't do well with that. But honestly, for as apocalyptic as everybody was making the sell-off sound like last year, down 2.6. I mean, while it's not good, it's not the 8% I was fearing.
In theory, it should have an inverse, like an exponential inverse relationship with like the actual price we pay.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Explain it to me in words I can understand, please.
So if our supply goes down 2.6%,
okay,
the inverse is it's going to go up. And instead of, if it was a direct relationship, it'd go up 2.6%. Exponential means
it's going to the cost.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got it. I thought you meant somehow it was actually going to raise the number of beef cattle.
No.
Okay.
No.
That doesn't make sense.
But they talk about in here that it says the next 2 to 3 years are going to be a bloodbath for packer margins. I'm not. So this guy, I don't know, it says he's a chief strategist for brokerage Allendale. I'm not an economist expert, but at the same time, I'm going to look at that and go, the big four, the big corporations, they're gonna make their profit. They're going to raise their prices. They're not going to eat that. They're not going to eat the cost that are rising.
Unless people won't pay for it.
That's almost a good thing because they're not going to have enough to meet normal demand.
Right.
So there needs to be less people to buy it. It would make sense. No. But people are just going to pay more. If you want it, you're going to pay more. They're going to raise their prices because they still need to make so much money to stay in business. And you're just going to pay more at the grocery store.
But if they pass that all along to you and I, at some point, people are going to go, no, I'm not. Like I said at 2020, how many years have we been doing this podcast now? 3? Have we been doing this 3 years?
When do we? Oh, yeah. We've been doing it just over 3 years.
I was against the live streams. I was against the podcast. Not very good at figuring those things out.
Nah.
Yeah. Anyways, there was some time during COVID where I was like, no, I'm not paying that for a ribeye. And I actually put a steak back. And it was the first time in at least my adult life where I was ever like, I can't afford to eat this.
Yeah, but how long did that last?
Not long.
I mean, I guess, well, I don't know.
But it does happen.
You are continuing to buy, but you've altered your buying habits. You are buying quarter beef at a time now. So, like, by doing that, you're still, to be honest, you're probably consuming more now than you were before.
Oh, I'm 100%. I eat beef nonstop. It's ridiculous.
But you're buying in a different format, which, to be honest, what you're doing is good because, in my mind, one, personally, I think it's good, but also business-wise, I like it because we support the small to mid-sized guy. We don't support I shouldn't say we don't support. We don't do a lot of business with the big packers out there. We do it with the small mom and pop shops all across the country. And if more people do what you are doing, that would be great for us. I also think that is the way to go, just personally in general, not business aside. I think that's the right avenue to go.
Absolutely. I also like and trust the Crabbles who I buy it from. Zach, great guy. His dad seems like a great guy. That's important to me, at least, to have that relationship in my food, whatever. Like I buy almost no meat from the grocery store at all anymore. My wife does everything for hers through some like meal ordering thing. So she just buys her meals, they ship them to her. I don't buy any meat from the store. I don't buy any chicken from the store anymore because I buy it through other means. It's the same thing. Like, I don't know. It's important to me. Like, I like my mechanic. He and I have a relationship outside of just our car. Like, those things matter.
You get a good look at a T-bone steak.
And I think they will matter more as we go forward. Anyways, sorry. What I got excited about there is, as I was getting in my car today through the passenger side seat or door, I saw that my receipt from Crabbles was here. So I paid $4.16 a pound.
That's nice.
That's not bad. And I cooked I've always been kind of down on fillets, or at least like I'm not as hyped on them as everybody else is. I would rather eat a strip or ribeye, but I cooked those fillets and so tender.
So what's your opinion generically on a fillet? Would you be less picky if you were choosing one which to get? Would you just automatically go, fillet's a nicer cut, so I could just take whatever was there at the store?
I don't understand your question.
Okay, if you go to the store, you're going to pick out a steak, and you can pick between 10 steaks.
I think I get your question now.
On a ribeye, you're going to be picky. You're going to be like, right. I want one that looks like this.
Yep, I want one with a big spinalis on it, and I want marbling. I got you now. Yes, I think because I don't know what I'm looking for as much with a filet, right? Like they all kind of look the same to me, but like I said, I'm a novice with those, but they were so tender and so good. I dusted them in Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub, and then I poured some of my
Mushroom Magic.
No, what is it? The zombie mushroom stuff, cordyceps powder, and then I rolled them in that. So I just laid that out and I just coated it on all sides. Presentation wasn't great. I've still got some stuff I got to figure out on that. All honesty out there, I sent Austin a message. I was like, if you ever want a competition again, choose fillets because I don't know what I'm doing here. They didn't look great, but they tasted amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. When you had your big steak cook-off against Tex, you were worried about presentation being a factor, and you ended up being fine on that.
Yeah, it's not something I concentrate a ton on. Like when we had the steak cook-off here a couple of years ago, it was driving me nuts seeing these guys trimming down their steaks to like a circle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why are you doing that? You're cutting off really good parts of that steak. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's the point of this? It doesn't make sense to me. Anyways.
That's just what they're supposed to do. It's
uniformity.
But it's dumb.
Yeah.
I see it as dumb. Maybe they like it. Whatever.
I don't think they like
Trying to get better at being less.
I think it's a way.
My way is the right way
to narrow the field, right? Because they got so many people, they just have to have another like visual element that knocks off 20% of people that instantly.
Okay, but then real quick, why is uniformity better then? Wouldn't you want like something that looks a little bit more appealing than everything else?
Totally.
Whatever.
Who knows? We'd have to bring in some steak guys, but we're sausage. So.
But anyways,
Dylan was a judge for it. We can bring him and ask him.
Dylan was a judge for that one? For the steak cook-off?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, next time we have him on,
I was an appetizer judge that year too, so any kind of random food you guys want judged and expert opinion on, if that's the rubric, boom, we got it, baby. I was going to ask, so like a tender cut of meat, which is, preferred, compared to like a tough cut of meat, right? I think one's more, masculine than the other, right? How come we never view a tender cut of meat as like a sissy cut, right? Give me something hard to chew, man. That's what I want.
I don't understand. Like, what? No, okay. Well,
I get what he's saying. I don't agree with it, but I get. I want that.
That's not my opinion. But come on, let's rub some dirt on it.
But this goes back.
Give me something I could chew on, man. I want to go to a restaurant, take two hands, pull it. Now that's manly.
But this goes back to the
cut of meat. Come on, what are we talking?
We talked about this like a couple months ago. How I don't see different foods as different levels of masculine. I just don't.
This one's very specific
to
the cut, or I'm sorry, to the cook. So
yeah, I don't.
It's more of a joke question.
Okay,
right?
yeah, I don't see it. I don't get it.
John needs a sissy cut of meat to enjoy it. That's all I'm saying. So, because it's more tender.
But you want it to. Tender is good.
Yeah, it's the joke.
Okay. Yeah, you're just not getting the joke.
Okay. All right. So we are down to the lowest level since 1962, when it was 28.918 million. Back in 1962, there were 28 million beef cow in America.
How long was the average lifespan? I bet it was longer then, though.
Probably.
Now,
I bet
you're
probably right.
They
churn them and burn them more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're probably right. How many more people are in the United States now than 1962? Like, was there 150 million back then? There's now 350 million, and then however many other people.
1962 U.S. population. Ooh, 182 million. In 2020.
Wait, you're asking Bing?
They won't even tell you. Yeah. He's right. We are asking Bing, so
Bing wouldn't tell me 2020.
Right, of course not.
Why?
Because it doesn't know. Ask Google.
331. So we've increased 150 million people. That's insane.
That is insane.
My problem with Bing is, though, it's not that it just won't. It's like it gives you the wrong answer. It won't just say, no, I don't know, or it gives you links. It offers up the exact wrong answer.
Incorrect information. No.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay.
So I saw.
We can prove this.
Yeah, I saw like a study. I'm going to say study in quotes. I don't know how formal it was. That wasn't looking specifically at Bing, but it was looking at like OpenAI and ChatGPT and stuff. And from ChatGPT 3 to 4, they went from like 95% accuracy
to 5
down to like, I saw like 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so
it's on a math question too. This isn't subjective.
I think
they've tanked it.
I think they're trying to have it be more creative, and they basically just, from my opinion, like more or less, they basically told it, you can lie. Is that to me, that's what it's like, because there is no opinion or creativity in like a math problem.
It's something very.
It's a true or false.
I was like asking it like, well, give me some examples of something, and then tell me why they're good. And it did that. And I was like, well, tell me why they're bad. And it gave me more reasons why it said stuff was bad instead of why it was good. And I was like, well, which one do you even really agree with, so to speak? So it gives you whatever you really want to hear.
I'm looking up land in the middle of Montana. So that when AI just blows everything up, I can go somewhere.
It's coming. It is coming.
No, because look, people have like documented where they would go and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like they would know where you're going to go. I'm saying in like movies, where does everyone go? The middle of nowhere, Idaho, Montana,
most people don't make it out of the cities.
But you know what I'm saying? Okay, but AI knows that. It's seen every movie in the history of time. So it's like, it's going to know that you're in the middle of
That's an interesting question. Do you think AI can process like a movie?
Oh,
like
for
if you
sure.
just had it. Like,
I've asked it, sorry to interrupt.
It knows facts about movies, but does it actually process a movie?
Good point. I was asking it like music stuff. So I was feeding it like some of my favorite bands. I go, can you maybe perhaps like give me recommendations for stuff that's like this, or even give me like song lyrics that are like of the realm of something that they would do? And it spit out like no problem. So
okay. All right,
now using that as a loose understanding, but very specific. I don't know.
I think it's valid. All right, real quick. At the Pass It On Outdoor Mentor, I think we talked about this. I won a Sitka giveaway, so I ordered it. I got the Intercept pants, and I got a Kelvin Aerolite jacket, and a pair of Lacrosse OptiFade Pro 18 Elevated 2 boots. Total
name's way too long.
Came out to like just shy of $900.
Gee whiz. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think we told everybody here, but our service manager won the gun.
Mm-hmm.
We clean up at Pass It On events. If it wasn't the way it was, I'd think the fix was in. But there's no way for them to fix it so that we win things.
Someone said something about it and like, oh, Jon won again. And I was like, you have to understand. Jon also put like $300 into the raffle tickets.
No, I didn't, Lisa. If you ever listened to this, no, I didn't. That's not true.
I don't know what it was. It was more. You put more than $10 in. Like
that's accurate.
You could go buy like a single $10 ticket,
right?
And so if you do that, I mean, yeah, your odds aren't very good. You could go buy the stretch raffle and get more tickets. And some people,
and if you buy multiple stretch
raffles,
it increases even more.
And so some of it is just the odds.
Yep.
Usually the people that go with us, like people end up buying tickets. It's not like everyone just doesn't go, yeah, no thanks, or I'll buy one ticket. There's multiple people that are buying a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
And
that was why when we donated to a local conservation thing, and they had for an upcoming banquet, and we just assumed that donation was also getting us tickets. And then we found out that wasn't true. And we're like, oh, that's a mistake on your part. Like, we spend a lot of money when we go to these things. Because I mean, at least speaking for myself, I have no kids. I don't do anything. Like, I have high levels of disposable income because I'm boring. This is what I like to do. It's going to a good cause, and maybe I win something.
I don't spend near as much as I used to, but that was before I had.
You had a problem.
My wife and kids. I spent a lot.
You had a problem. Things. That was bad. Like, we could not leave without Austin winning at least 4 bidding wars on prints.
Yeah.
Every time.
My house looked beautiful.
This place for a while looked beautiful. I don't know where they all are now. Some of them are in the new conference room.
They ended up behind me at my old desk for sure.
They were there.
I'm surrounded by hunting dogs.
There's a stack of them in the back of the classroom right now.
Oh, why aren't they somewhere?
Because I just haven't gotten to doing something with them.
This hallway right here is looking pretty bare.
Yeah, I should just put them up in the hallway.
Yeah. They shouldn't just be stacked somewhere.
Maybe I'll do that with the rest of the podcast.
They really are nice. I think everyone enjoys them. So
yeah, it just makes it nicer to like. It's not everybody here is a hunter, but who cares? It doesn't take a hunter to enjoy a nice painting of the outdoors.
Wait, hold on. So if I'm gathering this correctly, you think everyone here would appreciate the hallways to be decorated?
Yes.
So I can buy more.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have.
You're gonna talk to your wife about that
spoken
one.
For you got to have it.
Oh, I wouldn't have to talk to my wife about that one, because if I'm putting them in the hallway here, that's going on my corporate card. So I control the purse strings on that one.
Sweet. They know what they're doing.
Can I do that?
Within some reason. I mean, you have your own budget.
Never would.
At these banquets, they know what they're doing, because like you're saying, you go, here's some beers, guys, and then you start going, and then
100%.
Here's the raffle, and then you see one guy win, you go, that'd be a lot of fun, and then you're like, oh, what's it extra? Hey, you gotta take a couple $100.
That's exactly how it goes.
It's the best.
I would never do that, mostly because there would be some claim of Walton's having my winnings, and they are my winnings.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't share well.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe Patrick can grab this picture and put it up. But does that not look like a homeless man's Bradley Cooper to you? The story is Houston crime. Police search for meat thief. And it's this guy who just grabbed what looks like 4 steaks, maybe 5, and just walked straight out without paying for anything. Some security tried to like stop him at the door and he just walked right by him. And like, nope.
I think I could walk into Dillon's right now, grab 4 or 5 steaks, just go to the back and then just casually walk out. I don't think anyone's batting an eyelash.
I would say if we were 2 years ago, nobody would notice 100%. At this Dillon's now, 100% someone would notice.
Because you keep robbing steaks from them.
Because they keep getting robbed.
Oh, no.
I do at this Dillon's. I don't really remember I go to like 3 different Dillon's. Just depends on where I'm at. But this one over here, I do usually see like someone guarding loosely in quotes on the exit. Yep. Yeah.
Now, 90% of the time, that's an older female or like somebody no one's going to struggle with getting away from.
You're not going to have to
And
fight.
I don't think they would do anything beyond trying to get in their way and being like, hey, you didn't pay for that. Like,
my body language would be, I'd be perfect. I'd grab a basket like I own the place. I'd have a fake receipt. I'd flash it up.
Even a chance.
I go, here you go.
They would know what you were up to as you walked
I
in.
got it written on my face?
Oh,
Me?
yes. They'd be like,
oh, dude.
Well,
no, I'm very inconspicuous.
I should be a criminal because I have a genius idea here. Go in and buy 2 steaks. Buy them.
Okay.
Have your receipt. Walk out. You got your bag. Go to your car. Put it in the cooler.
And then just walk back in with the receipt for 2 steaks.
With the steak. Put the bag in your pocket.
Grab a basket.
Go grab the steaks. Put them in the deal. Walk to the front. You got your receipt. Boom. You're gone.
Yeah.
And then you can only do it like at the same store like twice.
Yeah.
Then you just go to the next ones. You just keep doing it.
So buy one, get ones on steaks.
Don't do anything we are suggesting on here. We are not suggesting you to do this, but being a criminal is not hard.
My mother-in-law used to work at Wegmans. It's a grocery store up in the Northeast that's absolutely amazing. I know we've talked about it on here in the past, and I actually miss it. It's weird. But when she'd work there would be like people they knew were always trying to run scams. And my mother-in-law would get furious because she'd like, as she's like scanning, one low grade muffin and then weighing like the really nice muffins, or like scanning one apple that's cheap and then weighing like she would see that this woman was doing that, and she'd go over and be like, oh, and blah, blah, blah. And she'd have to be nice about it. And eventually the store management just told her to stop intervening.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, so we just let them steal from us? What is this? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like,
but they build it into the cost. Like of all the other items, they build in this much of of our profit's going to be stolen. Yeah. So we have to increase the cost on it by that much.
That's tough though. Like approaching would-be shoplifters. Like we had a garage sale recently, and it looked like this one guy was trying to just like snake a pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "You make sure." I was like, "Hold on." I was like, as a guy, you can't just approach another guy with a combative, "Hey, you stole that." So you have to almost act aloof, and you go, Oh, by the way, those are like a couple bucks, and then that's all together. You almost try to just like reprice everything and almost like reiterate that he is holding those almost accidentally. So it's just like there is a way to approach stuff without getting in harm's way.
One of the biggest mistakes we made in this country was making assault illegal. Like that should be settled with a punch to the face. But you can't because you're going to go to jail. Like you handled it right, Patrick.
Yeah,
I'm not criticizing that. You handled it correctly.
Yeah.
Equal force.
So steal from him.
Yeah.
Hey, I took your meal.
You can't beat the guy up, but like, could you detain him? Sure.
Okay, but years ago, man, I don't want to get into this. This has nothing to do. Let's go.
For sure.
Yep. Sorry. Let's keep going. Okay.
That's a steak of a different.
Salmonella outbreak linked to ground beef sickens 16 in 4 states. Now, interesting that from the earlier article, I was saying beef is the one that I would be okay eating raw, and that's the one that's gotten people sick.
Not ground as much.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did, but
good
wouldn't suggest it.
But it's good.
I would be much more apt to eat a raw steak before ground beef.
I'm going to eat a raw steak again.
Let's do, instead of Fear Factor, it's like Meat Factor, but you have to eat like Sprouts raw, like without washing them.
No, Dylan taught me never. I don't get Sprouts on anything.
Like we cook meat in the back. You get to enjoy a steak, but you have to eat the raw vegetable first. Meat is a factor for you.
Each of the 3 of us have to eat something raw every day. One of us eats a ground product, one of us eats a steak, and one of us eats Sprouts. We draw straws to see what you eat every day. First one to get sick loses.
It has to be every 72 hours because it can incubate.
I'm sick thinking about it.
Okay.
I think
sounds like he's not going to be in.
I'm not doing the meat one.
Yes, you won't do it. I'll do that with you though.
I'm a money guy.
One of us eats a raw vegetable.
Sprouts.
It would be funny just to see you guys.
I'm scared
to see you just eating like a raw beet or something like that. Just
we have video of me eating raw meat.
Beets.
Oh, beet.
Yeah. Beat the
I don't
meat.
like beets all that much.
Beets, anything like that to me is gross. They taste like dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't really wash them. Just kind of take a big giant bite or a big radish or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
or even worse. Oh, hate radishes.
Well, I'm thinking this is a perfect like instant like not a game show, but like if I ask you questions, if you get one right, you get a piece of steak. If you get one wrong, you have to take like some vegetables.
I like this. Let's do this.
I do that.
I'm in.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
We'll put that together. Probably won't be for next week because I won't be here, but the following week. Somebody make a note of that.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. An outbreak of salmonella linked to ground beef has sickened more than a dozen people across 4 states in the Northeast, according to a notice published this week by the U.S. Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention. As of July 25th, at least 16 illnesses have been reported, 6 of which led to hospitalization, but there have been no deaths. So if something has salmonella in it, though, and you cook it properly,
you'll be fine.
You're not going to get sick. So,
so
this is people making burgers.
Probably.
And then I want it pink in the middle. Well, that's not.
They ask you that at restaurants too.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I have no.
When
clue.
I started working here, I immediately wanted to start telling the waitress, hey, you can't.
It's nicer
serve
places
an
too.
Undercooked burger. You're going to get people sick.
As long as they have the warning on their menu that says, warning, consuming raw or undercooked meat can lead to
I've
blah,
literally
blah, blah,
never read a warning on any.
Oh, yeah.
menu.
Look at a menu. Every
Really?
menu has it on there.
I just look for what I want.
No, look for the fine print.
Okay.
They'll have that every menu.
Interesting.
But you can still eat a pink burger that had salmonella and you'd be fine. The catch is you're going back to FSIS and Appendix A. You could have it. You cook it to 140 and hold it. It could be held there and be, or at least above 140 for 7 minutes. 145 is 4 minutes.
They're not doing that.
I mean, they may not be doing it on purpose, but how it depends on what temperature you're cooking a burger at. It would be very easy to cook meat above 140, never reach 160, and have been over that for 4 to 7 minutes. So when you cook to 160, you are usually you're killing everything instant, but you've already killed it once you've got to that point because you've been at a temp long enough. It's just people say cook to 160 because it's instant lethality. So you could eat a pink burger and it have reached lethality in another method,
and it haven't been infected with salmonella.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still chances aren't good. To be honest, I would bet that a lot of the people that got sick here could just be from cross contamination too. Okay. They're making stuff in their kitchen and they go cook it. They cooked it fine, but then they just
the same cutting board.
Yeah, used their
celery.
Utensil, cutting board, anything that just went to something else, and then they get sick off that.
I obviously know about Appendix A and fairly familiar with it. My brain is so defunct that never even, I've thought about this for years. Never in all of that time did my brain go, hey, we have this information over here on Appendix A. That could be the answer to your question. It just siloed it off and was no, pink burger bad.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Which one do you think is tougher? E. coli, or what was the one you guys were just talking about? Salmonella? Well, the posters I used to watch when I was a kid, you're washing your hands in the bathroom and they draw germs like they're gang members or something. So which one do you think is tougher, salmonella or E. coli?
I think it's E. coli.
Yeah.
Now, you can get a couple hundred cells of salmonella in you and you'll be okay. You get a couple hundred cells of E. coli in you, you're in real trouble.
Okay.
So yeah, was your question more what's more potent or what's more resistant? Okay.
I mean, it was more of a visual.
What's worse? Okay.
Sake of do you think they wear a vest? Does that one have a eye patch? How do you think he would? What's his shiv skill like?
Why Eric Adams, mayor of New York City, wants to cut the city's meat budget? New York City's 1 million public school students could lunch on cheesy garlic pizza, green beans, and salad on Monday, but not roast beef. Patients at New York City's public hospitals might dine on paella, seafood not included, or Moroccan root vegetable tagine. New York City's, it's the same thing. That is absolutely ridiculous. So school kids, hospital patients are not going to be given meat. He's cutting it out of the budget.
Doesn't make any sense.
He's a mostly vegan or vegetarian.
You're gonna lose a lot of your nutrition, because even if you're still eating vegetables and stuff, when you eat meat, you get so many vitamins, minerals, everything.
An article I didn't include in here because we've talked about it so much recently, but was from a former vegetarian who went back to eating protein. And their whole thing was just the bioavailability of all these micronutrients that you just can't get from eating vegetables.
Yeah. I've been thinking about the whole like nutrition overall thing, specifically in what I'm consuming lately, because I do a lot of supplements, and I'm like, I need to stop taking so many supplements. I just need to make sure I'm getting more in my diet. Yeah. And so wife and I were talking about going and getting like quarter beef or something. My dad just casually mentioned it the other day, and I was like, if Dad wants to do it, Jon just bought some, but we could just get a whole beef and split it between a few of us.
Yeah, you're going to be waiting a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But nonetheless, like I need to do something there, so I just have more beef. But beef, I think that I've been on my mind lately that like I need to get better nutrients, not eat as much pizza in my diet, and beef is what I go to because you get so much out of beef.
To be fair, Patrick and I were talking about this earlier this week. We said we can only have one fat person up here, so you need to stop losing weight, or pretty soon, well, I'm going to be the fat person.
Do we need to do another weigh-in?
I don't want to get on a scale.
I don't know.
I think it's better now than it was like 2 weeks ago, but it's still not. I guarantee you I'm above 215.
If you are, this is the first time in a long time that I've weighed less than you, and I might be a more healthy specimen than you at this point.
That's not accurate.
Specimen.
We did bring a blood pressure.
Mine was 124 over 81.
86.
Oh, it was not.
You're getting, yeah, it was 86.
I've also had a stupid amount of energy drinks today, but apparently he's doing something.
I pulled it up on my phone.
All right, we'll do this after.
Okay.
All right. A meat war is waged across state lines from the New York Times. Depending on which side of the Colorado-Nebraska state line you're standing on, the meat-related significance of March 20th varies drastically. Governor Jared Polis of Colorado recently declared the date to be Meat Out Day, seeking to decrease meat consumption and encourage meat eaters to consider plant-based diet. Though Mr. Polis's proclamation was largely ceremonial, Governor Pete Ricketts of Nebraska took notice, and on Monday, he declared March 20th to be meat on the menu in his state. Thus began a carnivorous culture war complicated by the prominent agricultural industries in both states, where livestock accounts for meaty portions of the economy. This is a direct attack on our way of life here in Nebraska, Mr. Ricketts said at the news conference at Frank something Meats. Stoyich Meats? They might actually be a customer. I should know that name. Stoyich Meats, a butcher shop in Omaha. Mm-hmm. So Tex is up there, so he's adding to the meat eaters. Did you see what he sent? I think it was today.
Mountain Lion?
Yeah. So they're following Tex because there was one in the Wichita area when he was here. Now he's up in Nebraska and they're there.
He was not really in the Wichita area.
Yeah, area.
It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're following him. Anyways, I find it funny that there's a war between governors over whether or not to eat meat. All right, real quick. Exotic meats you need to try before you die. I want to go over the list of this and we can see what we've had and what we haven't had. First one is alligator. Check.
Be on board.
Second is jellyfish.
Nope. Hard pass. No.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Did you look at that?
For sure.
Do you want to eat that?
Sure, it's seafood. For sure, our next Willow barbecue is going to be
That's going to have the consistency of beaver tail.
100% going to be jellyfish. I'm ordering some as soon as I get out of here.
Does that not look like consistency of beaver tail?
It doesn't look good, but it's worth it for me to not have to eat something to get the joy of you hating it.
Do ostrich. Look at that.
We did ostrich.
We did?
We did ostrich.
Dang it.
Was not good, not bad. Rattlesnake was okay. Wild boar. I don't know if we've ever actually gotten any wild boar.
No, I mean I've had wild boar, but
okay. Then there you go. We haven't done it here.
Yeah, not on the podcast.
Guinea pig.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's a whole guinea pig. We'll
get a bit.
I mean, it can't be that bad. Is that technically rodent though?
Yeah. Can we get a capybara or something? That'd be cool.
There was something like a capybara, like a nutria.
Yeah, that's right.
That was on one of the sites that I buy stuff from.
Mm-mm.
So I'll get a guinea pig, I'll get a nutria, and I'll get some jellyfish. Kangaroo, we've had kangaroo. It sucked. I was so disappointed in that kangaroo. Oh. And elk is delicious. Escargot, we've had.
Getting too far ahead of this.
We've had. No, you're done. Oh, does it keep going? I thought escargot was the last one.
No, it keeps going.
Oh. So Fuji, that's the pufferfish. We'll never eat that because that's the one that can kill you.
Yeah, we're not.
Tarantula. We've eaten spiders, so didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we ate some sort of spider.
We ate crickets.
I think there was some sort of spider we ate. Okay.
Don't think so.
Iguana.
That makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, I'm not big on that.
It looks disgusting.
Yak. We tried yak.
We tried yak?
Yep. Eel, we did eel. So we've done most of those. But I'm glad that we have a new one to do that I'm excited about is jellyfish.
Why is this labeled as you need to try? It should just be like exotic meats that are weird.
Beaver tail wasn't on there at least. They're not trying to claim you need to eat that one.
Yeah. The writer of this article would probably claim that beaver tail is not exotic.
Tyson Food donates 160,000 servings to Vermont Food Bank in Brattleboro. For anyone who doesn't know, Vermont's having record flooding. I saw pictures of where I used to drive through this town to go skiing, and there was always this cute little place that overlooked a little stone dam, and it was all the way up to the first floor windows. So they're having really bad flooding. And we talk, a lot about the bad that the Big Four, which includes Tyson, does. This is something they're doing that's very good. So good on them. All right, jumping to the end. It's not a shark, but woman found dead after suspected grizzly bear attack near Yellowstone Park. Sadly, this woman is from Derby, Kansas. So that's just south of us. South?
Yeah.
I don't drive that far down there.
I didn't realize that that's what this was about, but I actually just was talking with somebody yesterday that was mentioning this because they were talking about wildlife and going out and what's dangerous, and was like, yeah, you need to look out for moose. Yeah. They had no idea that moose were dangerous.
Is this somebody who spends any time in the outdoors or?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, moose are not to be messed with, but I would no matter what the stats say, I would far rather see a moose in the wild than a bear. Come face to face with one. Much rather see a moose.
Yeah. I feel like more people die from moose because they're ignorant.
Right. They're doing the thing with the bison where they go up and they try and get a selfie with it. I don't feel bad for those people. It makes me feel bad that I don't feel bad. But I see them get trampled every once in a while. I'm like, what did you expect? It's like the girl who got out of her car when she got in an argument with her boyfriend in a tiger preserve. You ever seen that?
No.
Oh, there's video of it. It literally looks like a cartoon. She gets out of the car and is yelling at it, and it just reaches in from out of frame. Yank, takes her right away.
Wow.
Then her mom gets out and goes chasing. And I think the girl who got taken survived, but it killed the mom.
That's insane.
Yeah. Don't mess around with wildlife. Kurt Ratzliff is gone for 2 weeks, and he sent me an email before he left, and he was like, just out of curiosity, is there a gun you think would be a cool giveaway at our next event? And everything they've done is, a hunting rifle, something like that. I was like, a cool thing would be a good bear gun. Like when you go into, Montana, when you go into some of these back area things, you probably don't have enough time to get your hunting rifle up. So a lot of guys will carry a 10 millimeter, something with more stopping power than 9 at least.
Yeah. I take a ATV trip with dad, older brother, and some other friends every year. And when we go, I'm always carrying my 1911 like at all times, because that's when you're out there. Is the best, easiest thing. It's big enough and has stopping power, small enough to always have on you and carry. But that with like some Hornady critical defense rounds or zombie rounds. Something in there with some extra oomph.
What's a zombie round?
It's just a critical defense round. It's got a green tip in it. Makes it look like a zombie round.
I do wonder a little bit about using a critical defense round, though, because their skulls are so thick that a full metal jacket might actually get you through better. Right?
I don't want to just
mushroom.
Yeah, I don't want to just go through, though. That's why you do the critical defense. You want to go and... It doesn't like blow up, but
mushrooms.
It's gonna split. It's gonna push a very small, but an air pocket in there that's then going to under high pressure.
But if you're hitting thick bone, that might not penetrate.
I'd be shocked if it didn't.
I wouldn't. A grizzly bear's skull, or even worse, a brown bear's skull.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully you never find out.
Follow up to that. I was thinking. Not deep into this, of course, but if you were trying to get rid of bodies, just give them to a bear, right? Just go deep somewhere, forest.
They won't eat the bones.
They don't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. Damn. Oh, sorry, I got to make a call.
No, your best way to do that is just get some lye and get a real powerful...
Jesus.
This episode is full of things you should not listen to us on, and it's full of a lot of sarcastic humor, so don't listen to us.
But it was sarcasm. Fun. All right, you got anything else?
Yeah, my phone says you are hypertension stage 1.
Oh man,
what was it?
You were over 84. Your pulse was 86. So
yeah, like I said, I've had pre-workout and 3 energy drinks today.
Yeah, but if your pulse goes up, it should lower your blood pressure.
All right, well, we'll test it. Bring that in again tomorrow.
Hypertension stage 1. Have it here every day.
Okay, we'll test it again tomorrow.
Okay,
cool. See you guys.
Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics Podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltons.com. To get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Waltons, everything but the meat.